Oh snap. Here we go, y'all. Episode 6-5, where we're going to talk about not only staying alive, but how to thrive. Okay? We'll be talking that jive turkey. Hey, this is the Real Resilience Talk, and I'm still Cam. And I'm thanking you for tuning in, number one. But I want you to understand at the same time that I'm an imperfect human. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an accredited counselor, but I am a person who lives my life daily and has lived for close to 40 years now. So um, I want y'all to understand so you don't try to cancel nobody. Also, this show is not a representation of, nor does it receive any endorsement from any official organization, to include the DOD or the USMC or any other organization that you want to try to get me canceled by saying. Now, I might reference them because I want to endorse them in a positive manner, but this is no official endorsement of from anything. This is two Americans in this case using our First Amendment that we have defended, and we're going to expend it. So, in order to get somewhere on these topics, I feel in my heart of hearts, we have got to get off a fucking PowerPoint. We have got to get off of slogans and punchlines. All those things are good and well intended, but we got to get real on these subjects if we're ever going to make a positive difference. So that's my rant. Y'all know what resilience is to me. I've told y'all it's what Stallone said in Rocky 37 or whatever it was. Ain't about you. It's about you can get it and keep moving forward, right? That's what I say. Y'all have heard me say that enough. But today I have the pleasure, the honor, man. I'm talking about a Marine's Marine, a warrior's warrior, a human's human, man, a humble servant leader, a person that I admire. I mean, I've posted about this book, A Leader Provides, many a times. You should see the notes on it. It looks like a child went through it with a crayon and some. I actually chewed on the crayon afterwards. Oh, that was so hack. But a man I really respect and admire, man, a superhero of mine. Not all superheroes wear capes. I'm going to turn it over. We got the guest today, the one, the only, the Ernest R. Twigg. Everybody, yeah, give it up, give it up, give it up. What's up, brother?
Hey, no, that's a great introduction. I appreciate that, Cam. And the truth is that I requested to be on your show because you inspired me with your movement and your mission and your book, 33 Gems of Resilience. I, I'm literally honored to be here with you. And I want to tell you a little story real quick, something that I haven't told anyone. Um, do you remember a mess night that I was assigned to be the to give the speech of the fallen comrades speech? You know, you were a drill master, so you probably don't remember. You did, 100 of those things back in
I definitely remember. At the Lyceum with the 3rd Battalion. Spirit and discipline.
3rd Battalion. Hey, I still bleed blue blood. I still do. I still bleed blue blood because those people that you work with, you can never forget. They're in your hearts forever because they're elite warriors. You're not going to let them down. But getting back to what I was saying at the Lyceum at that mess night, okay, so 3rd Battalion Drill Master gave me a script for the Fallen Comrades speech. You've
right.
seen it a million times, right? And so started reading that script, started working it, and hats. We gotta give the senior drill instructor speech, something. So I was like, okay, I want to take this pretty serious, and I want to get this verbatim because all eyes are on you, and you know how feedback on Paris Island is always possible, right, Rob?
Father, just real.
Yeah. So yeah, you're tracking what I'm putting down, and so anyways, what a lot of people don't know, Cam, is that Lance Corporal Joshua Twigg was killed in action in Afghanistan. Now, this was my little cousin who grew up thinking that I was his hero. This is a little, so I was in my 30s. He joined because he wanted to be like me. You see what I'm saying? And so that Fallen Comrade speech meant so much to me. Let me tell you what I did with it. I remember studying that thing, reciting it 30 times a day, Saturday and Sunday, more. You know why I did it more on Saturday and Sunday? Had more free time.
No.
It consumed
There it
me.
is.
So I remember I took the paper and I visualized it. Once I had it down, I stripped it of its words and I practiced. Okay, should I say it here? Should I put more emphasis into this? And I took every word and I put it into my cell membranes. I took it from my mind and I inserted it in my cell because I wanted to make it a part of me. I wanted to own that speech. You see what I'm saying? Like, and so mess night comes, boom, flawless speech. And you come up to me, and I don't know if you remember this or not, but you said something that touched my life forever. Something that touched my life forever, man. You know what you told me? That was the best fallen comrade's speech you have ever heard. Now, let's look at the source. One, you're a man of honor and integrity. You want to help your fellow peoples. But number two, um, you've done hundreds of mess nights and evaluated. That's what you did as drill master. You see what I'm saying? So, and we all know hats, apex predators, man. They're
Vicious.
fighters. Oh, I love it because that forces you to excel. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna do better. So for you to come out and say, "Hey, that was the best you've ever seen," you validated all of my heart's work that I put into that speech. Now, I want to ask you a question. What would possess you to say something like that? Because we said it earlier, Paris Island is the land of positive feedback, right? The drill field. You know? What
Oh
would possess you
man,
to
for
say
those
that?
for those who don't know, just to kind of bring the listeners up to speed, like a mess night is not a messy thing. It has nothing to do with a mess as you clean up, but it's where a unit comes together and you have a formal dinner, for lack of a better expression. And there's a lot of formal things that you do in it. We do toasts that you have to memorize to different campaigns that have occurred in our nation's history. And if you happen to be a veteran of said campaign, you do not stand during the toast because everyone is toasting you. So there's a lot of history. There's so much to it. If you've ever been, it's fun. It's hilarious. You can find each other for different things. But the keystone, the pinnacle of the entire ceremony, the whole night, is whoever is to give the fallen comrade toast, and it's a monologue. For it is amazing verbiage. It's to honor and commemorate those who have went before us, and what this man did, and I didn't know this then. You just heard him. I'm telling you, he's Marines, Marine, a warrior's warrior, human's human, American's American. You know what I'm saying? And he inspired his younger cousin to join and follow in his footsteps. He wanted to be like his big cousin, and unfortunately, he gave the ultimate sacrifice that same week that this man is giving that fallen comrade toast, that's fallen comrade speech. And it's literally someone that shares the DNA and the exact name of this man. And he's given that the same exact week. So I'll tell you, you'll see through this episode, this is one of the most enthusiastic, passionate humans I know, but means it and has a ton of gaff. And y'all know what I mean by gaff, that give a foxtrot. So I just wanted to bring the audience up to speed so they understood exactly the significance of the timing, the circumstance, and also Paris Island. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it, but it's a place where we make Marines and we break everyone down to build them up. There's a lot of breaking down. Okay. So, and drill instructors are the worst critics to each other. Some people be like, Cam, you can't take criticism. I'm like, you have no idea how much criticism I could take. I've literally been called as a grown man, I've been fucking told scream bitch. And that has been verbatim what I was told as a grown man. But why I said what I said, because you know me, I got the ADHD. I'll get over here ranting. I said it because I meant it, bro. And I mean it still. It was the best. And the passion that comes from you just in your daily living, but there was something like heavenly about that. And once I now know that was part of it, that you lost a relative, a fellow Marine, a family member that same week, man, that makes all the sense in the world, because he spoke through who you honored him, and it's still the best I ever saw, hands down. So that's no lie.
Seriously, that positive feedback, that those how many words is that? That's you see what I'm saying? That one sentence that you said impacted my life to where I'm now consulting for $1 billion company. You see what I'm saying? This works.
Wow.
This works. And here's the truth. If I could do it, every single last veteran, service member, Marine, whoever you are out there, You don't even have to be a service member. If you just listen to what we are talking about, we're going to make it real. We're going to keep it real. We're going to put stuff into our brain like ChatGPT, and we're going to push it out there, and we're going to get you to where you need to be. You got to put your faith in us because we're living examples. We're living examples. So Cam, he's demonstrating it because he has it in his mind. Hey, I want to execute. I want to be a podcaster. I want to be an author. He's got so much drive and so much determination. And to be honest with you, an unstoppable force couldn't stop him. I couldn't stop him. He's got too much willpower to go forward. So how do we get there?
Appreciate you, brother.
How do we get there?
How do we get there? That's it. And I do want the audience to know, please know this. A closed mouth don't get fed, but a closed mind certainly doesn't get fed. So if you're still listening right now, please listen to what this man has to say. I'm telling you right now, he's been through so much trials and tribulations and challenges, and he has done what we talk about on this show, which is be resilient. How do you push through something? So before we get really going, I got to do my first little template question. Everything else is a riff, basically. But what is resilience to you, bro?
Resilience to me is being able to allow the pressure to turn you into a diamond.
Yes. You didn't just say, like, deal with it. You said allow it.
You move with it. You move with it.
Yeah.
Where a lot of Marines and veterans, I think, fail to adapt when it comes to the civilian sector is that they're not meeting their own expectations and they're not executing. Well, why are they not executing, Cam? Why don't they have a job? All this negative, I call it stinking thinking, chitter chatter.
That's right. Zig Ziglar, baby.
Limiting beliefs beliefs that you're tied to, beliefs that are a vision, a memory of who you are. So now you accept that past as your current reality, which it's not. Your mind is just keeping you locked in the back. Now, I got to throw this out there, like you said earlier. In no way, shape, or form am I a psychologist, a psychiatrist, or a certified professional, and I don't want to come across that way. We were laughing earlier. I'm a super nerd. I'm an autodidact. An autodidact is someone who learns for the love of learning. So I'll study physics, I'll study neuroscience, psychology. As a matter of fact, as a child, when I was 13 years old, the first book that I read from cover to cover was from a gentleman named Carl Jung. He's a famous psychologist. And the book was so fascinating that I was hooked on psychology and mind optimization. Carl Jung, I'm not going to beat anyone over the head with theory. All I could say is that from a very young age, I really fell in love with the mind, resiliency, and how to optimize our lives. Watch this. And we're keeping it real when we're talking resilience. So when did you know you was going to become a Marine, Cam?
For me personally, was when I saw the towers fall. I said I want to risk dying for something than to live for nothing, and I figured the Marines was the fastest way to the fight. That's just me. That's my experience.
You gave me goosebumps, bro. And the reason why that's so powerful is you had purpose, just like my purpose with the speech. You had purpose, and so in your mind, you knew you were going to be a Marine, and you made it happen. So, okay, I forget the percentage, sorry, of how many people, maybe the percentage of Americans that could become Marines. I've heard like it's like less than 3% or something. Is that true?
I don't know the exact figure, but I know we definitely earned the moniker of the few and the proud. Like definitely, few, and that's armed forces as a whole, let alone the Marine Corps. It was being so small, but yeah. Yeah. Definitely, there'll definitely be a very small percentage of Americans serving in the armed forces, let alone the Marine Corps, for sure.
Absolutely. Here I go. Here I go. I knew from a very young age. I don't know why. I can't tell you why, but I knew I wanted to be a Marine. I didn't want to be a soldier. I didn't want to be an airman. I knew specifically, maybe it was the uniform that burnt a symbol like into my mind. I don't know what it was, but I knew I was a Marine. I even had the haircut, played fort out in the woods, crawled around in camouflage, stalked my own house and watched them, crazy. It's crazy how the mind works because watch this. Go to boot camp, become a Marine. Okay, great, great. Let me put some more input into this noggin of mine. I love psychology. I was telling you about that. Um, and one of the greatest psychologists today defines consciousness the only way that I know possible. It's the only way that I agree with it. Let me put it in a better context for you. The field of science has real difficulties defining consciousness and what it is, especially with artificial intelligence. It's becoming a hot topic, right? Okay,
Right.
so if you Googled it, psychology will give you one form, neuroscience will give you another form, blah, 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 blah. Okay, check out, and I'm sure you may have already heard of him, Dr. Joe Dispenza. Have you ever heard of that individual?
Yeah, I know that. I know Dr. Joe D. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a neuroscientist. He's a neuroscientist,
Yes.
and he speaks very plain. And he defines consciousness in a way that I agree with it. He describes consciousness as a quantum field. What does that mean, Ernest? What does quantum field mean? So the traditional psychologists say that consciousness, well, that the human mind has 70,000 thoughts a day, okay, and that it's based on perceptions and introspection, so forth, so on. Dr. Dispenza and his quantum model of thinking says you are those 70,000
Ooh,
thoughts you have a day.
yeah. Mic drop on that. You
So
are those thoughts. You ain't just thinking them. You are.
exactly. So here we go back to the Marine Corps model that I was threading in. Boom. Let's take it back to boot camp. Ernest Twigg says what? Ernest Twigg says, too easy, light snack, bro, for real. I went to boot camp and I remember I was scrubbing a porthole. Okay. What does the other slimy recruit do? And when he comes over and he wants to start talking to me. You know what I'm saying? Like he's my buddy. The drill instructors told me to clean these portholes, and he's coming over talking about how much he hates recruit training. Dude, recruit training saved my life. For me, it was Disneyland. It was Disneyland because my perception, my mindset, I loved every minute of it. Put that, say, okay, I need a little taste, a little more. Went infantry, okay, great, congratulations. But I said, you know what? I want to do something harder. I want complexity. I run towards the sound of guns. I run towards complexity. I want to be a scout sniper. Boom! At the age of 31, shout out to Sergeant Major Gerald Gavin. He was one of my instructors. Hates the crap out of us. Loved it. It was just awesome. Big LinkedIn personality. Million-pound brain. Great dude. Yeah, so Scout Sniper School is one of the most difficult military schools. And here I am, 31, competing against 24-year-olds, 22-year-olds in their prime, dog. But I knew inside my mind. So we started with 50. Guess how many get accepted? We like after the PFT, we're down to 21. I remember that I made it. My old butt, 31 years old, beat it, and I got me a seat. And then graduated. Boom. Okay, so there's something with this keeping it real, making it real. this visualization thing. There's something going on with this. Let me write a book. This is back in 2009. Now, again, I didn't have a degree at that time. All I did was self-study, basically self-taught. Put the book together, boom, I'm an author. Let's take it further. Drill instructor. That's how I met you.
That is. And let me just pause right there for a second, just a moment of reflection and appreciation. This is literally, y'all, a leader provides. I mean, the title itself, but I remember being on Petros parade deck and I had heard rumors, and it had always been a dream of mine in the back of my head. I want to write a book. I don't know what the fuck I say, but I want to write a book. And somebody was like, Twig wrote a book. And I was like, for real? And I went and talked to you, and you was so humble. You was like, yeah, man, you should do it. Why not? Like, I did it. You could do it. And I didn't realize it then, but man, I have used this book so often, man. Like, just one line I just want to say right here, where you talking about the leader demonstrates from the front and gets beside his subordinates. He or she is not above them in greatness, except perhaps by being imbued as a greater leader because of one's team members, because of them. So the leader is never above, but always with. And that right there, man, when I read this, I don't want to say it changed, but it enhanced, and what you said earlier, optimized my approach to any form of leadership or just service in general, is not to be above, but with. I'm telling y'all, I got to do a plug just in case you got to like stop your car and go get gas or whatever like that. Look up A Leader Provides. I know you can find it on Amazon. I'm sure there's some other outlets too, but one of the best books ever. But you wrote that shit, and like you said, you didn't have a degree yet. You were at the time E6 in the Marine Corps, and we were on Paris Island, and you fucking wrote a book, dude. So I just want to give you flowers where they're due right now, because that's fucking amazing, dude. I was a GED then. I never even took a college class at that point. I was like, shit, fuck. But it's actually good. It's not just like my homeboy wrote a book, right? No, it's actually fucking good. Like, it sticks with me. So just had to plug that.
Yeah, no, thank you for that, brother. And it means a lot that it actually struck home, because that's what it is. If you look at anything I write, it's always for someone else. Every post that I come up with, it's for someone else. You see what I'm saying? And where I was driving is that our minds are so powerful. Our minds are so powerful, and everyone's experienced that. Everyone has put that input into their mind and became a school teacher, became a professor, became a Marine, whatever it is. At some point in their life, they visualized. So, and the quantum field, they use their resilience to make it happen. So I'm gonna break down a model, and this is why we're here. This is what I'm giving away, and I appreciate you allowing me to give some context to your viewers. But this is the main thing that I feel that I could give them, because it's going to build on what they already know, and I call it the MDO model. Okay, and MDO,
so like Mike Bravo Oscar, MBO.
Mike Delta.
Oh, D. Okay, I'm all about the NDO. Got you.
Yep. So motivation, discipline, and optimization. When I say motivation, I'm not saying motor, got a lot of motivation. Hoorah, hoorah. I love those guys. I love them, but at the same time, that's not the motivation I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the motivation you get when you have to pay bills and you can't, when you're living paycheck to paycheck. I'm talking about the kind of motivation where you go get a job that maybe not, you don't feel so proud of, but you go out there get it because you have to put food on your table. You see what I'm saying? That kind of motivation.
Yeah.
And Marines, you took that first step. You became a Marine. You took that first step. You became a drill instructor. You took that first step. You became an officer. How challenging is that, homeboy?
They let anybody in, by the way.
So as much as you're slinging it, you are a master of it, bro. And you're going places. Nothing could hold you down. And I'm not BSing. I'm not telling you what you want to hear. You're going places and you're doing it. You're putting in the work, and you already know what you do in the darkness. It comes out to the light.
That's true.
And
That's true. So those of you who over there picking your nose right now, like nobody sees you, it's gonna come out, motherfucker. It's gonna come out. We're gonna find you. But that's serious though. The hard work. Yeah, yeah.
talking to these veterans, a lot of them have a foul mindset. And talking to them, I found it normally revolves around two things. The first one, the first one is that we are conditioned, and they're just tired of the BS. Like there's a lot of politics that goes on. There's a lot of games that are played, and so these enormous challenges that are set in the veterans' lives that they've accumulated over the course of their career. You're talking some people go 30, 40 years, depending on what branch of service you're in.
Yeah.
That's a lot of baggage. That's heavy. So they don't have the motivation to kick that. They can't leave that baggage down. And then I told you there was a second reason, and that's because of the shame. Look, what is it? There's Marines that will be ashamed to apply to become a chief operations officer. I'm just not worthy, this individual has a PhD or this individual has their MBA, and they make all these limited thoughts, these limiting beliefs of why they can't. And remember, we said we are our thoughts. Remember, we said that. We already said we agree with that term of definition of consciousness. So now their mindset is frozen solid. And they don't have the motivation to kick it. So my guidance is just do it. Just jump right in. Just like you did with when you went to the Army, Navy, Air Force, wherever you're coming from, whatever you did, jump in. And then
just jump in and figure it out just far as you need
to. Absolutely.
Yeah. Even that document that is still an experiment that we're all willing to die for still. There's 27 amendments of oops, let's make it betters inside the U.S. Constitution. So I say that because nothing is perfect, but living and potentially dying for that is worth it, in my opinion. And that's the same with our lives, everyone. You just got to build it. And again, we know that it took a while for them to put that together, right? It took a while for that thing to get ratified initially, but they tried to make a perfect product. But even then, 27 amendments later, it's still not perfect because there's always room to grow and room to amend, but you have to first just do it. Nike that shit, right? Just do it, which they really stole that shit from Coach A.L. Williams. He kept saying do it, and then the next year Nike started their campaign, but Coach A.L. Williams, football coach, and he had an insurance company, he the real person who said do it first. I'm just saying. I got the YouTube video. I seen this shit. Internet told me. He said, do it then. He said, well, houses ain't selling. He said, well, it's selling anyways. He said, well, this year I'm gonna get that job. He said, well, then go do it then, right? And another dude like Zig Ziglar with that stinking thinking, got that southern accent. Anyway, I digress.
No. I love it, man. You tickling me. Yeah. So I remember reading what you were putting down. In 33 Gems, you were talking about Will Smith. And one of the things you said inside there that really meant a lot to me was you said, Will Smith's not perfect. Boom!
Hell no. Nope.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. But at the same time...
Nor are you and nor am I.
Thank you. So we're talking to the individuals right now who got the DUI. We're talking to the individuals right now that for whatever reason got laid off from a job or can't get a job. We're talking to the individuals that are down in a hole, spiritually, emotionally, maybe even physically. We're talking to you.
Yes.
Because we want you to succeed. We need it. Because there's no one better in this world, in my opinion, than someone who will look at hot lead passing your face and still be there with you. Let me tell you something. That's the thing I miss the most, are the people that keep it real. The people inside of combat. Yes, war is hell. I'm not going to try to glamorize it. I'm not going to sit here and tell war stories. That's just not my personality. But what I can say is you can see some of the most beautiful actions from a human being possible during some of the worst times. And those are the people you never want to fail. You never want to fail them, And so like you were getting it with the, just kick it, just do it, just do it. Yeah, do it. And then to your point about resilience, the D stands for discipline. The discipline to wake up at 0530 even though you don't have to. I ask a lot of my so I've been doing this since 2021. I've been helping Marines and I don't charge a thing. And we get them good jobs. We get them great jobs. You know what I'm saying? And just do it because I love them. I love it. And I'll tell you, the thing, man, I've been trying to help them, and oh, they have those limiting beliefs, so they don't have the discipline. They don't have the discipline to stay under that pressure and become the diamond. They give up and they go back to where they're comfortable. They don't want to get out of their comfort zone and continue learning. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
Yes.
discipline is one of, I think it's the most important of it all, because motivation, yeah, you could just get up one morning and say, hey, I'm going to start a workout routine. Boom.
Yeah.
Well, now you need that discipline to carry you across that finish line. And you already have it.
Couldn't agree more. It. I tell my like when I coach, I actually earned the title Coach Cam. I don't just say the
Yeah.
shit. But but when I coach, or even to myself, when I'm trying to remind myself, I always try to remind myself and reiterate. I'm probably gonna get it tattooed because I'm forgetful. So if I put it on my body, I probably can't forget it. But discipline plus consistency equals positive results. Discipline is so important because as Zig Ziglar, you said stinking thinking, but one other thing Zig Ziglar said, he said that motivation, it wears off like a cup of coffee, but you got to do it every day. You know what else wears off every day? Every fucking day, brushing your teeth and taking a shower wears off, but you still got to go to continue to do it. And that's where that
Yeah.
discipline to have a clean body or just some decent hygiene, but it wears off, right? But that discipline, like you saying, that's the pulse, that's the heartbeat of everything. You got to have that. And if you haven't had it for a while, if y'all there listening and you've been having some stinking thinking, and as my man said, you having limited beliefs and things like that, well, hit a change step, left, right, right now. There's no time like right now. And like that, what that old Chinese proverb they talk about, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is right now. So please hear what he's saying, and I know it's true, and I know it's from a reputable source because I'm telling you, you can read his books, you can see him live. This isn't just talk. And again, and I do appreciate you and I respect you, but if he wanted to tell us some war stories, we could sit here for 7 hours and listen to some real bona fide, real war stories. But the man is so humble. He wants to tell you not where he is, where he's been. He wants to tell you what he is and what he's about to try to get you to go where you need to go. That's humility. That's humble servant leadership. And I just wanted to shout you out for that because there's so many people that would sit up here and be like, well, when I was and when I did, and then like, goddamn, Uncle Rico, tell me some more. You know what I'm saying? Tell me about how far you can throw that ball over the mountain, dude. You know what I'm saying? But you're not doing that. You telling people right now, and I know because he's earning it right now. I know this. So ain't nothing he talking is not backing up. I just wanted to throw that out there.
So we had motivation, discipline. Now, we could get into a race against other people from California to Florida, and we could get behind the car, you and me. It's us. We're racing against a whole bunch of competitors. We get behind that car, we start pushing that car down 40. That's going to take a lot of energy and a lot of effort. Or we could optimize.
That's right.
Oh, we can
Very good.
optimize our lives by jumping inside that car and flooring it and going. And it wouldn't tax our energy. It would just make us get there faster, and we would be victorious, right? So optimization. And I've been on a kick about optimizing your life through your KISSAs. So KSA, inside of organizational psychology and organizational development, what these organizations look for is someone who aligns their knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
skills, and ability with what it is that they need. You see what I'm saying? So, if they're looking for widget makers, you got to have knowledge. That's what you know. You got to have skills. what you do, making that widget, and the ability. Hey, I have the hammer, I have the computer. I could design that widget. I can make it. You see what I'm saying? So those they're looking for those kisses, and what everyone needs to do is stop, pause, put politics to the side, get off your Facebook. I like what Jim Quick says. He says, feed your focus and starve your distraction.
Oh man, that's powerful. You said, hold on, you gotta say Jim Quick. I love Jim Quick. That's one of my guys, man. You said, feed your focus and starve your distractions.
Feed your focus
Damn,
and
that's
starve your
powerful.
distraction because that focus is what's going to optimize. And it's funny that a scout sniper is talking about focus. You know what I'm saying? Like I laser sharp without remorse and with your total conviction. Focus, because that's how you learn. That's how you learn faster. And so, what I recommend to everybody is take the time out from all of those distractions and focus on yourself. Focus on who you are. Find out what your kisses are. Find out what your knowledge is. Find out what your skills are. Find out what your abilities are. And then align it. Align that. Pop that
Yeah,
into artificial intelligence and say, hey, what would be a good role for me? Boom, it's going to tell you. Give you a prime
that's
example.
true.
It's funny how I learned up in learning and development, right? Learning and development is my soul. This is what I do. I was telling you, man, I work 14-hour a day, 7 days a week because I can't fail. As a consultant right now, I can't. I have to make a product that exceeds because my very next job is based on that. So, so I don't have Facebook. I don't have Instagram or TikTok, and I'm not knocking anyone who does if they're using it to propel their mission. Got it. But if you're on there and you're listening to the trolls or you care about vanity metrics like a thumbs up's not going to get you a job. A
That's
thumbs
true.
up's not going to
That's
do
true.
anything for you. I'm not posting on LinkedIn because I want thumbs up. If one person comes in and likes it and gets something from it, because that's what every single post is about, helping each other out.
That's it.
For
Yep.
free.
No, it is. It's sharing in that steel sharpens steel that we talk about. And egos, everybody, ego probably wants the million man march and you want to make that much of an impact, right? And be a Dr. King. But really at the end of the day, man, if you just reach one with your example, with your expression, right? Like Bruce Lee said, to live is to express, you have to create. So with that post or with that quote or with that text to somebody, whatever that expression is, that art that you express to give to them, if it just reaches one, then it was all worth it, bro. It was all worth it. It was worth it. If nothing else, it helped you because you got some shit out, and it didn't eat at you. You got it to let it out. And I do agree with you about the hunger for learning, man, because like I've heard Jason Vale, he said it. He's like a juice guy, but he also had a really good book that helped me quit drinking. It's called Kick the Drink Easily. But in there he says that we're like plants and that once we stop growing, we start dying. It's very binary. Of course, you got to take a rest every now and then and assess and search and assess. You just kind of pause for a second, but you can stay there too long and get complacent. So I love that you're emphasizing that continuing to grow and that discipline to continue to have that MDO, that motivation, that discipline, and that optimization, but to look at your knowledge, skills, and abilities, and then how can I grow this? And then hopefully I'm gonna go and do some bars over here. Not only grow this, but how can I sow this into something bigger
Yeah,
than me?
yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Bars,
Brilliant.
what's up, bro? What's up?
So Jim Quick, since you like Jim Quick, he has a term S3. Okay, um, simple small steps. So
Man,
in
I thought you was talking
optimization,
about the train. I thought you was talking about the training branch in the unit that runs the rosters and stuff. Nah, not that S3. Nah, I'm playing. I'm playing. I'm playing.
yeah. No, yeah. Well, it is operations in a way, if you think about it. When you
It
take
is.
simple, small steps. See, the thing is someone who's a little bit afraid to drop their resumes online. That's one of those simple, small steps you could do every single day. Let me tell you something, Kim. Before I was hired, okay, so using my mind, when I was a sergeant major, I said, you know what? I want to go into the corporate world. Guess what? I put over 1,000 applications in. I got about 20 interviews.
Whew.
I ended up getting 2 job offers out of all of that work, And then I read people on LinkedIn, they say, yeah, I put in 10 resumes and I haven't been hired yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've got to have that resilience, that discipline, the motivation to put that in, the discipline to continue to do it every day, but you got to optimize it. And it was funny because the haters used to hate on me because I keep a journal. And look what, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, it's looking down. Oh, I know it. That green monster.
That's right. Hey, old fashioned. Some things
it just works, man.
Yeah.
It just works.
But you could go back and look inside your journal and you can say, oh, snap, I'm weak here. This is where I need to cover down. And you could optimize. Yeah. And you know what's amazing? We want to optimize through artificial intelligence, but we don't want to optimize human intelligence. Let me give you what I'm saying. I've been studying neuroscience and been on a kick with the nutrition because our brains, check this out, our brains take up 3% of our body weight. 3%. That's small, right? But it takes up to 20 to 25% of our energy. So that tells you right there, proportionately, it's the most vital, the most critical, essential organ inside of your body. So you have to feed it. Well, what's the food? Cam, I eat this on a regular basis. Oh, look at this. Look, I'm not even lying. Walnuts.
What that is?
They ain't there.
Walnuts?
Walnuts. They have antioxidants. They have different properties that nourish your brain. And I'm going to go through what my diet is. If someone wants to be, a little bit compulsive with it, like I am, fine. You don't have to do it, but if you start sprinkling in these elements, there's a reason for it. It's brain optimization. Instead of
that's that small, simple steps. That's that little walnuts. That's just some small, simple steps right there.
You're tracking 100. Yeah, avocados, salmon. You're gonna want those omega acids. You ever watch the show? We're gonna go down a little rabbit hole. Alone. It's where contestants go out on an island and they stay in the woods all by themselves.
I ain't watched an episode, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, so if you watch the season, I love that show because I'm watching them psychologically. You know, I in another life I was born a psychologist. But anyways, over time,
it's Dr. Victor Frankl reincarnated.
Over time, you'll watch those contestants start losing their minds, their inability to make decisions. The ones that are fishing and the ones that are catching the fish, those are the ones that last the longest because of those omega-3s. So you can literally see the brain optimization of what I'm talking about that you could incorporate into your life right now so you think sharper, you think clearer, you talk and things come easier to you. Optimize your nutrition, optimize your hydration.
Hey, where Hot Pockets fall in on that, man? Hot Pockets do it.
They fall in my childhood. I think I ate enough of those things to hold me over. Yeah. No,
Hot Pockets are the best thing food stamps could give you. I'll tell you.
That's right.
All right.
I agree and I understand because that's how I grew up. Poor, just not poor, lower middle class because I come from a family of 8, like I said in my book, a family of 8, and my pops was the only one working. So that's a lot of mouths to feed. And he worked at Amtrak, which love him to death because we always had food on the table and he set a great example for me. You know what I'm saying? But we didn't have the things that the other kids had. We didn't have the shoes, the clothes. So we were on food stamps and stuff like that. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Going back to the nutrition though, bro. I
Sorry,
was
I just had to
telling
ask
you.
about Hot Pockets. I'm sorry. That was my
Yeah, yeah,
ADHD
yeah,
getting
yeah,
in
yeah.
there.
You,
Sorry,
you,
bro.
you took me back. You took
Talking
me
about
back.
thinking sharper, talking about optimization, walnuts, avocado, salmon,
Yeah.
not Hot Pockets. Okay.
Salmon, tuna fish for those omega 3s. Turmeric, turmeric is critical. I take turmeric
Yes.
every single day because it's an anti-inflammatory. Not only does it do my brain good, I'm old. I'm pushing one more. I'm pushing 50, bro.
Oh,
So
snap.
yeah, I'm old, man. I did everything late in life. You see what I'm saying? I'm a late bloomer.
The,
But
the AGE is real, though. It hits you. It hits you like a ball of rocks. But yeah,
absolutely. But I'm gonna
turmeric
keep it
helps,
real
man.
too. I fight back. I punch back. You know what I'm saying? This is a
That's
crowd
right.
participation sport.
Yes.
This is a crowd
Yes.
participation sport, and there's no way I'm going to allow the difficulties of life to defeat me. I'm gonna crush their face in. I'm gonna keep pushing through whatever it is, um, and learn whatever it is that I have to learn. Applying for a job, you know, let's optimize our learning so that way we can learn how to get a job. You see what I'm saying? And by keeping a journal by your side, optimizing your brain, you can go back, reflect on what it is that you're doing wrong, so that way you could have that feedback and make those corrections. I am a
Yes.
huge
Yes.
fan of a journal, but get a mentor as well. You want to optimize your life? Get a mentor.
Get them in.
Ernest Twigg. Ernest Twigg. Cam, this is gonna be funny. I uh, I didn't go to college not because I didn't like it. You could obviously tell I love neuroscience, I love psychology and stuff, but I was afraid. I was afraid.
Amen.
I
Yep.
was
I
afraid
was
of
too. Yep.
that. I literally had a fear. I could run out into a hail of bullets, but I can't. For the life of me, I was so afraid of math. But I had a mentor, bro, Carlos Gallardo, and he's like, Twig, you're one of the most brilliant people I've ever met, bro. You got to go to college. And I was like, oh no, 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 no. And on working hours, he's like, you're going to go down to the college and you're going to show me that you've signed up for a class. And I was like, okay, let's put it to use again. Let's do it. If it's going to work, it's going to work now. It's do or die. Bro, check this out. Check this out. Went from learning disabled, LD, back in the 80s, that's what it was called, for the slower kids in class. Went from learning disabled to a 4.0, including calculus.
Ooh, dang. For real? Oh
For
snap! Because
real.
I was feeling like very like I can relate. You're scared of math too. I got a D minus in the
No,
statistics, so I suck. I
no,
was like, we're
no,
gonna be
no,
so
no,
relatable
sorry,
here. And then
sorry. No, 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 no. That's not the
you
point.
said
That's no, no,
including
no, no, no.
you said include calculus. I was like, oh snap, no. But the point is, I'm sure you were smarter than me in that you actually tried to optimize and you actually tried to get to a mentor and you worked through it. Like, no, that's just a credit. I was like, yeah, we on the same page. Oh, calculus, nah, I fell off back there. I'm run drop way.
And you know what though? I know for a fact if it was in your trajectory, that's a black box that you would figure out. Do you know what that black box is in terms of learning? What black box means?
Nah, what's that mean?
So from the point you start learning a new skill, a new trade, you learn something new, a new speech, whatever. From the point you start to the point you finish is a black box.
Mm.
Okay. And the way that you finish it is you open it up from the top and you see inside a little maze. Those are the dots that you have to connect, all the things that you have to learn until you get the output where you learn it. So I gave the MDO for people at your level because you're tracking what I'm putting down a lot, and I'm sure many of you out there are tracking it and beyond. Um, this learning method that I'm about ready to give is something I do because I'm a consultant and I only have a month to learn their entire business. You see what I'm saying? And I have to be credible. I have to know what I'm talking about. I have to learn the pressure is on. The pressure's on. And so I optimized this. This is my method. And it's going to sound crazy, bro, but I call it the mosh pit of the learning.
The mosh
The
pit of
mosh
learning.
pit.
I like it.
The
Yeah, I'm
mosh
already
pit of
sold.
learning. So because I already know, I already have a structure of what their business model looks like, I jump in the mosh pit without fear. And I'm rolling with the beat. I'm rolling with the beat. I'm picking people up. I'm tossing them. I'm throwing them. I'm learning. I'm learning to identify what the number one priority is for that business. What's costing them the most money? That's what they want to know. So as I'm learning the business, I'm analyzing, I'm assessing. I'm giving away my consulting model right now for free because I love y'all, for real. I get in there, the mosh pit. It's beating me down, bro, but 14 hours, let's go. I'm learning. I set priorities of what I have to learn. And I run through that black box. Most people go through the black box one room at a time, very methodical. And that's the traditional way of thinking. But because I believe in the quantum field and I'm basing it upon other neuroscientists, I'm not a neuroscientist, but basing it on what neuroscience says, I run through that bitch. I run through it like I'm sprinting for my life. And so then I've identified their number one priority. I start going from critical, severe to high risk. I organize it nice and neat for them, and I provide ways that I can fix it. Your mind is no different from mine. You could implement that model. I know that I left out a lot of scientific jargon for a reason. I tried really, really hard to talk so that way to talk from the heart. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because
I love it. It's got to be that's about what I see a lot of times today is and what I love from just our talk so far is it reminded me of something I listened to recently of Tony Robbins. He said we are in this information age but we're starving for wisdom. What you just shared was not just information, it was hard-earned wisdom. And there's so many, if you've listened back to just the last 15 minutes, I'm not keeping account, but like the tangible tools, and I'm not over here on the phone, I'm over here actually taking notes because the dullest pencil is sharper than my memory. So if I don't write this down, I don't just do this show for everybody else, I'm trying to learn something too.
brilliant,
But
bro.
you
You're
do
brilliant.
tangible tools, bro, tangible tools. And then in all of it, like even something like inflammation, you're like, nah, fuck that, I'm fighting back, I won't allow this to crush me, I'm gonna crush it in the face. And that's inspiring, man. So that's optimizing right there. So just you wanting and having that empathy to say, I'm gonna cut out some of this jargon to give you the tangible tools, the meat and taters of this that you need to take and apply. I mean, we'd be a fool not to. I mean, what Bruce Lee say, knowing's not enough, we must apply. Willing's not enough, we must do. So this right here, this knowledge you dropped just so far, right, is vast, tangible tools. Even like when you talk about the mosh pit of learning, then learning what's the number priority, then what's the biggest expenditure, and then dicing it all up to the critical, the severe, the high risk. I mean, that is optimizing right there to know like what's our main thing, bro. Like that's sometimes the hardest thing in modern with technology, with Teams, with Zoom, with this, with that. Like what's the main thing? That's the beauty of sometimes the Marine Corps and how we execute. We have the main effort and we have supporting efforts, right? And we know
Love
what
it.
our main thing is. The regular world is not made up like that sometimes, and even sometimes it gets foggy and gray, it gets weird in the fog of things. In the regular Marine Corps on the day to day is just like, what is the main thing? We can't have, if everything's important, ain't nothing important. So you got to do that number one priority, biggest
CIR,
expenditure. What's
CIR. Yeah.
Yes, just a constant, but also going back into that mosh pit and then being humble enough to say, I ain't got it all figured out. We're gonna reassess. We're gonna do this. So I appreciate it. I appreciate it. That's some good
So
knowledge.
so I'm a heat-seeking missile inside of that mosh pit. And let me tell you what I mean by being a heat-seeking missile. Marines, we already established that Marines could be brutal to each other when it comes to negative feedback. So no one, I told one of my bosses right now, I said, there's nothing you could say to me that would ever hurt my feelings. So please, 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 please. I am a heat-seeking missile, and if you know how it works, when the missile's flying, it uses negative feedback to get back on its course and back on its destiny, so that way it can
Oh,
perform.
you got to say that again. That's profound right there. I think that's profound. So
I am a
not just heat seeking
heat-seeking
missile
missile.
as in but how does it stay focused through what?
It uses negative feedback. So hey, it went too far right.
Whoa,
It went too far right. So now it's got to make an adjustment. Boom, it's back on track, and now it's getting positive feedback.
that's
So just as you gave me positive feedback for that speech that I used that kept me on my life's destiny, my life's mission, my life's purpose, with that positive feedback, when the haters hated, I used it as fuel. I used it as feedback. So I tell everyone, there is nothing you could say to me. There's nothing you could say to my mind that could ever hurt my feelings. I don't get embarrassed. It is what it is. It is what it is. And I don't got time to worry. I've got to get better because my family's livelihood, my reputation, everything is hinging on my quality product. I am gonna bring this back up. This is called The Organized Mind by a neuroscientist, uh, Dr. Levitin. And inside it, he brings up a point that you were getting at earlier about being in the age of information. Check this out, Cam. Inside that book, I wouldn't recommend it. It's heavy jargon, but there are some gold nuggets. So maybe you could do a search inside of AI and take the wave caps and optimize it. But one of the nuggets that I came out with, he said that a human being today in 2025, actually the book was written in 2015, takes in more information in one day than a human being took in 7 years back in the 1500s. 7 years. So you're still taking in information, whether you know it or not. You passively take in information when you're at rest and when your habits are kicked in. And, you know, 7 years. We get more in one day because of our cell phones, because of the computers, because of the the social media. All these distractions that are taking place. Our brains weren't meant to handle that. So he brings up a very good tool. He says, be aware of decision fatigue. So
decision
decision
fatigue.
fatigue.
Oh wow. Every leader in America needs to hear that right quick. Decision fatigue. Good lord.
So Cam, you have a brain that has a finite capacity of energy. What I'm saying is you only have so much energy in your brain, and and everything that enters into your perception, everything that enters into your mind is draining you. So if you're following politics, if you're following, if you're stuck in the past because of something that happened to you, you punch someone in the face, or you got a DUI or whatever, and you're still stuck there, you're gonna be trapped. You're going to be trapped, and you're losing that energy, that precious resource of your brain, where you could be optimizing your business, optimizing your family, who you love, optimizing yourself, investing in you, so that way you stay as young, and you stay as young as possible, and you get as much from life as you possibly can.
Yes.
Optimizing your life means feeling ignited with joy because you've intentionally surrounded yourselves with the things that you love. Instead of spending all that mental juice that we have on who said what and all the gossip and all the drama, we don't got time for the small shit. You know what I'm saying? We buck with the band.
It's too petty. Yeah, it reminds me of, and I share this often. So anybody, I've said it on here a million times, but it reminds me of what Mother Teresa say about to promote world peace. What can you do? Go home and love your family, right? And I say that because, like, what can we do to prevent things? What can we do to prevent suicide? What can we do to prevent you know the DUIs, the troubles, the harmful behaviors? We can go love our people and take care of them. But there's so many people that sit and watch the infotainment, whatever they want to watch, fill in the blank on whatever infotainment channel it is. But over and over, to the point where, like, they go to bed angry over some shit outside of voting they have no control over. Which, if you feel so compelled, go start your campaign now, get some signatures, and maybe you could be a candidate and fix some shit. But until then, could you go floss? And could you help your kid with their homework? And could you manage your fucking money? And because your breath stinks from 3 cookouts ago, because there's still some ribs in the back of that molar back there that you ain't got out yet. But you got so much to say about what's going on the damn TV. My point is, what she's saying is, take care of your shit and your circle of control as best you can to optimize. And what my man Matt Carnell says, he did an episode with me, great dude, but he talks about with the optimization, he says EFP, to extract the full potential out of something or someone. Like, we're not doing that by just watching the news or just doom scrolling and shit. I'm so with you on that, man. We waste so much, but would you say starve the distractions? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Jim Quick, I got to give props. You know what I'm saying? He said, starve those distractions and invest in that focus.
That's right.
It feed the focus.
Feed the focus, starve the distractions. I love it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And getting to your point, the moment that paradigm shifts, the moment your mindset shifts, you're going to want to creep back to those old habits. Why? Because it's comfortable. We are creatures of comfort. And so
Even if it's
my
abusive, it's what we know, so it's comfortable.
absolutely. We stay in relationships and we settle with someone who doesn't pay us that same respect, that same love, or that same feeling, not because we are living our best lives, but because we're settling. We're listening to those voices inside of our head, those limiting beliefs that stop us from opening a podcast, that stop us from writing a book, that stop us from becoming consultants. You've got to do it, and you got to take the steps, and you got to do it again and again, no matter how bad it hurts. Just just keep going. Just keep going. And
What compels you to have that inside you? You asked me before. You asked me offline. What inspired me to do certain things. What is it that keeps that fire inside you? Because it's definitely something that you could. You gotta kindle. You gotta continue to feed. And what is it that keeps you? I know you said provide and help others, but, like, what gets you going? Because there's somebody listening right now, they're like, man, I'm feeling everything you saying, man. Like, you're an accomplished dude. Like, you've made a habit, you've made a history of being giving your best and fighting against these things. But, like, what about those days that are just like, fuck this, man? And I hate to use that verbiage, but we all go through it. What are the things that keep that fire burning in you, like, for you?
gratitude, gratitude, and I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Being coming from my upbringing, everyone's had a hard life. Everyone has a story. Mine's no worse. There's been a lot of people with a lot harder life than me. But you take a learning disabled kid, get them a 4.0 legit college degree, write a book, fall in love with the mind, and then come across people who are willing to die for and with you. So my esteem grew. The Marine Corps built my self-esteem. I owe it my entire life. And when I talk about Marine Corps, it's the people like you, it's the people like Sergeant Major Gallardo, Gerald Gavin, those individuals. And because because I would look inside my mind and think about what my mentor would say. Check this out. Look at how optimized this shit is. You ready for this? Sergeant Major Carlos Gallardo is a stoic. Do you know what a stoic is?
Well, you know me, like I'm a nerd, so I'm gonna say the lowercase stoic is somebody who's like a statue, who's somebody who, we use it commonly, but then there's the other stoic that is of stoicism, which is like Epictetus and, Seneca and things like that, who are people who study how to live better and how to endure things. So stoic can go two different ways. You could just say somebody's a statue, or you can say you're deep and philosophical and you're resilient. So people so I don't know which direction. I'm a nerd. Sorry.
No, 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 no. It shows that you're a board certified nerd like me. So that's why we got this good chemistry going. Yeah. So yeah, he's a stoic. What better person to have evaluate because they're not emotional. They think logical. They optimize and try to live a better life. And he's extremely humble. And so I run through major life decisions with my man. He's a Marine and he's my brother. And I trust his advice more than my own. You know why?
That's love.
He could see outside of my emotions. He could see outside of my frustrations, my angers, my decision points. So having a mentor is crucial because they could give you that negative and positive feedback. But you got to be willing to accept it. You got to be honest with yourself. Stop being a fraud. Stop being fraudulent and saying that, oh yeah, I put three resumes out there and you didn't even optimize your resume. You didn't even put any effort into that. But because you led a fire team or whatnot, you think you're going to get this job, but you don't because you have fixed beliefs. You're a mess. So go to Cam, look up Coach Cam, and say, "Hey, Coach Cam, what am I doing wrong?" Guess what Coach Cam's going to do because he loves you. He's going to look at the things. He's going to prioritize those critical, those severe, and those high priority things so that way you can start getting a grip of your life. Give up drinking. It's funny that you gave up drinking. You know what I used to tell the Lance Corporals? They'd say, "Hey, Sergeant Major, how do you become a Sergeant Major? Easy. Quit drinking. Period."
Yes. Oh man, it's such That's It's
The
man,
sad
it's
part, Cam,
definitely yeah. Yeah, no, I think the fact of it is that, and what I called it in my own experience is my kryptonite. Like I could be a superhero, I could be a Superman, but that thing holds me back, and it's the ultimate hustle in the world because you think that this is what's creating the environment or creating the vibe or we're lit or whatever. Well, nah, man, it's the people, it's the conversations, it's you know, it's the moment. Half the times you've had a great time and you're really drunk, you can't even remember it, or you're ashamed of the picture because you look so wasted. So to me, it's for me, it was a thing that held me back. And if I'd have kept doing it the way I was doing it, we wouldn't be on this right now talking. I know that. I'd be, you know what I would be? I'd be in the smoke pit talking about doing some shit like this though, drunk.
sure, sure. That's power, man. What you just said is raw, real. You admitted to the fact that you needed to give up drinking. Look, a glass of wine has some neurological benefits in terms of antioxidants. So I'm not going to be, I don't drink at all. I don't even drink a glass of wine because I don't like the migraine that's associated. I don't like an altered state of consciousness. I have to be at my top performance all the time, every day. And to be honest with you, when I talk to a lot of veterans that are feeling down about themselves and they can't get a job and so forth and so on, they're drinking to get away from that problem instead of redirecting that energy and doing the kiss us. Optimize or kiss us. Stop drinking and put in the work. You see what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
not even rocket science. It's actually very simple,
No.
but you have to be willing to make those sacrifices.
You got to be, and you got to, like you said, have those mentors. And just to shout out to an organization that's really helped me, man, habitsv2.org. My man, Coach Kevin O'Hara, he lives in Spain, an amazing man, dude. But the one thing he always talks about is one simple fucking rule: keep the alcohol out your mouth. And for me, that has made a difference on some of those days where I'm like, oh, it would be nice. And then I go, it wouldn't be nice. And then, play that movie forward, right? Because for me, it was like Russian roulette, not if, but when will I make an ass out of myself or have to apologize for something? That's for me. And to anyone out there, whatever your stress reliever is, I'm not a prohibitionist. That led to NASCAR and gangster movies. So Americans will do what they want to do. So I'm not a prohibitionist. But what I am saying is if your quote unquote stress reliever becomes a stress causer, I don't care what that thing is. It could be everything from video gaming to maybe even working out, or maybe it could be doom scrolling. I don't know what your thing is. Everybody's got their thing. But once your stress reliever becomes a stress causer and it's not helping you optimize or reach your full potential, it's got to go, baby. It's got to go.
Absolutely. And I think that really, really, really encapsulates why you are successful, bro. That code you made to yourself, it took the motivation. I don't know what your motivation was. You do. You stayed committed. You found the discipline. You said, "Hey, you know what? This is gonna make me. It's gonna impact my career. It's gonna make me act like an ass. I'm gonna do something that wrong." And now you're optimizing, and that's why I truly believe I'm calling it now and bookmark this. Uh, your podcast is going to go farther than any of the others. And I'm not saying this out of joke. And you don't believe it right now, and you think I'm just I feel it in me that you're gonna go past Jocko Willing. You're gonna carry it forward because here's why. Your mission isn't to tell war stories and collect a dime from whatever corporation that you're working for. Your mission is for the ones that are struggling, the ones that
Yes.
are facing nightmares. And that was the whole point of me coming on tonight. I wanted to do
Yeah.
something different. I didn't want to.
Yeah.
Cam, you know very well, we could sit here and I could give you a definition of resilience and we could talk,
Most definitely.
book all day long. But where I'm truly finding the biggest obstacle for Marines veterans to overcome is that lack of confidence they have, that lack of drive that they have when they are transitioning. They're afraid, they're confused, they're overwhelmed. They've been beat down by the politics of the military. You know what I'm saying? Day in, day
That's right.
out. How many times? And I know I'm going to take a lot of heat. You're going to get some bad comments, but here I am,
I'm all about it. Bring
205
it.
205 pounds, and I'm working for a boss. We all have bosses, right? And that squirrely dude tells me something out of hatred towards me because of whatever reason, okay? And you know it's a bad idea, and you know all you got to do is punch him one time. You're going to love it so much that you're going to want to punch him again. You know what I'm saying? You're going to want to keep doing it because it's just going to feel so good. But you don't. You have that discipline, and you sit there and you say, yes, sir. And you still are a class act and a professional, and you say, sir, you asked for this request mask. Here's the best that I could do for you, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's real
No, and it's
strength.
got to be like that. It is. It's so hard. I had some Marines in the last few years, and what I always tell them, the analogy I said to your point is, someone can slander you, someone can say mean things, someone can speak to you out of tone and talk to you like you're not even a Marine or a human being. But the second you punch them in the throat, you're the asshole. So
That's
my
right.
thing to my,
That's right.
I used to talk to
I
my,
love
I used
that.
to talk to my crew
That's
and be like,
throat box.
don't
Go for the
punch,
throat box.
don't don't punch anybody in the throat, like, and they got the analogy right, because once you do that, now you're the asshole. You're the one that's wrong. So it takes that discipline to not do that, and sometimes that's all the battle is just, it's hard too, because you want to, and you just said about the veterans that they the confidence and the drive and stuff like that. But what about the ones, and I've seen this often, and I have to keep myself in check, that are arrogant, that act like they're just gonna walk into something and it's just gonna. I don't know if that's a defense mechanism because what the civilian world calls stuffing all your anxiety in and fucking succumbing all your pain inside and eating it from the inside out. I mean, we call that maintaining military bearing. So I don't know if it's a front or if not, but I see a lot, and I've been tempted to myself to be like, I got this, and it's great to think like I've done these things, I can do these things as well, but to act entitled, right, and to act like somebody owes you something beyond your Foot Locker discount. You know what I'm saying? Like in that, on the other sphere of that, have you seen that whole
I
people
love it.
that?
No, that's a great
In,
point. Yeah, and I'm glad that you bring that up because guess what, bro? Everyone has a black box that they gotta face. Everyone. Let me tell you one of the things that I see, and so went to school for learning and development. I, you know, limitless, Jim Quick, learning and development. You know what I'm
yes,
saying? Learning the
yes,
mind, organized mind, learning is my life. And so when I get someone like that who hasn't gone through that black box, who hasn't broke themselves off to learn what they got to learn to do it, and then they come saying, "Hey, I want to be in learning and development," and they start going. I see them. They creep into my LinkedIn, and you know what they start doing, Cam? They start modifying their LinkedIn. They start plagiarizing. So now they're in learning and development now. You see what I'm saying? Even though you see what I'm saying, they haven't gone through that black box. So when a learning and development specialist asks you, hey, talk about some adult learning theory, Herzberg motivational theory. Give me 5 learning modalities. When they start dropping science, those egos that thought, hey, I'm just entitled, this is who I am, I want to get off of what I've done in the military, they're in for a rude awakening because they didn't go through that black box. I say,
yes.
I say, if you're humble, you got to go back and you got to be willing to learn. Your analogy you gave earlier when you said like a plant, the moment you stop growing, you die.
Yeah.
You're
it's
spun
it's kept me it's kept me focused, and it reminds me of what General Mattis said about complacency kills, because that's complacency at its finest. And also like what General Smith just recently said about maintain momentum, like you have to maintain the momentum. To me, you could right click that for a synonym and it could say complacency kills, because so many of us, and I've been tempted to myself, so none of this I'm speaking from a pulpit of perfection, but that we can rest on our laurels. And one of the things that's helped me, especially with my drinking days and my mistakes that I've made, and the guilt and shame that we carry sometimes in life, suicide attempts, and just so much of the things of my yesterdays. And everyone has their yesterday, as you described. So no worse, no better than anyone else's. But one thing that's helped me stay away from that mindset and to stay humble and to stay hungry has been, and I, of all people, I heard it from Susie Orman, the financial consultant lady. But in one of her books, she said,
I know
she
who she
said,
is.
you are what you do today. She said, you
Yeah,
are what you do today.
I love that.
and
Yeah.
and and it helped me so much, because like, I'm not going to rest on my laurels and say, oh, I was a this forever, right? You got to earn it today, right? And then also, I'm not going to hate myself for mistakes I've made, because I'm not doing that no more. So I am what I do today, and I can't do nothing about yesterday or last week, good or bad. So it's got to keep you humble and hungry. You know what I mean? And that's all. That's a battle every day, of course.
I
You are what
think
you do today.
Joe Dispenza says something so liberating. Um, he says the majority of us are imprisoned. We are
Yes.
imprisoned by the memories of who we were, our mistakes, all of our achievements, and we're stuck in time. He says
I
the
love that you said
quantum
achievements too,
quantum.
because it wasn't just a prison of negative. It wasn't just a prison of negative. So thank you for saying that.
Right. What? Oh, let me clarify my perspective on achievement. Achievement is just life. It's that you're on a journey. You're on a journey, and you cross. That's the positive feedback. It's telling you that you've still got your destiny. You've got your purpose to complete. But yeah, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. It really is. Really is.
No, I couldn't agree more. And actually, I keep this right here in my purview. This is some First Battalion Delta Company sand from the pit right here. And on
Yeah.
here, it literally says, on here it says, "You are what you do today, Susie Orman." Like I put it on a little post-it on there, just so like if I get cocky, like, "Oh, look at who I was," and I'm like, "Nah, fool, you are what you do today. You could be in that sand tomorrow." You know what I mean?
Yeah, you gotta pull
It's
your
just what
mind
it
out of
is.
the past, period. And
Yeah.
define yourself by an image of who you are in the future so clearly. You have to do this. So when we were started this, we talked about when we knew we were going to become Marines, and we went through that operational loop of taking in input, visualizing it, being motivated, disciplined, and optimizing it. So here we are. What are you going to do with it? Let me tell you something, bro. I know for a fact there's going to be a listener. I know for a fact you reached a listener's life tonight. I know it. And what I want them to do is take 4 months, unplug, go to a dark room, go to a dark room, unplug yourself from Facebook, unplug yourself from the phone, whatever it is, and do what you've been dreaming of doing. Whatever it is that makes you you. If you love guiding, read about the wilderness where you're at, and start visioning how you could become that guide and how you could launch your business, how you could optimize AI to get the marketing out there so you could get people to come see you, so forth and so on. Take 4 months, 4 months, do your KISSA optimization and align yourself. Find out, because remember we were talking about those small, simple steps? Check this out, Cam. You're going to love this. I found that when your kisses are aligned, those small, simple steps that you take are enormous leaps to outsiders
Yes. Yes.
because you put in the work inside that black box. You're legit. You're bowdy about it. You're rowdy about it. This is who you are.
Throwbacks, baby.
Oh, yeah.
On that note, it's so funny because my son one day I was joking him about his mumble rap, and then I said something. I was like, "You got the hookup," and I was like, "Alexa, play the I got the hookup," and it just I was dissing on his music today, but I listened to that song back in the '90s, like, I got the hookup, I live in hear me, and I was like, all right, I can't talk no shit on his music no more. But you're right
Yeah.
though, man. Like the unplugging is important, and to do what you've been dreaming to do. And here's the thing too, for anybody out there listening, and I heard this I respect Ryan Holiday a whole lot. You know, he writes a lot on stoicism, and he real cool dude. He's got some good perspectives. Daily Dad is a good book. Daily Stoics a good book. But one of the things that I heard him on a radio show, very famous radio show with Angela Yee, The Breakfast Club, and he was like, "You gotta get the phone out of the room." And then her first thing was like, and there's no diss to Angela Yee. This is how we think. Her first thing was like, "Well, I use my phone for my alarm, so I can't. I gotta have my phone in the room." He's like, "You can't buy a $5 alarm clock." You know what I'm saying? Like so many people just heard you say unplug, and they're like, "Yeah, but I use my phone for this, and then how I'm gonna check this?" Then you could use, like, we have to find a way to maneuver warfare and find the gap and exploit it, and then go in a different direction. Like something as simple as buying a $5 alarm clock you can buy at any Dollar General across America hold some people back from not having their phone in their rooms. You know what I'm saying? Just something so small. So on that same principle of thought, to anyone out there that's listening, and you go, "Oh yeah, that's what's up, Twig. You said unplug for 4 months. I can't do that. I have to have my email." Do you? Do you? Because I see a lot of people, especially when we talk about like Dopamine Nation and Anna Lemke, a lot of people, addictions come in many forms, my friends. You using your BlackBerry app and saying that you're dedicated and motivated, you might be a workaholic. You might be wanting that dopamine hit from looking at your phone all the time, saying that you're doing something constructive, but really that thing may be holding you back, or that is one of those things that is the distractions that you were talking about with Jim Quick, where he says, "Starve the distractions, feed the focus." I love that because it really is binary, man. Like there's levels to this shit. We've heard that expression all the time, but really, is this thing holding you back or is it pushing you forward? If really you want to get to that point of what you're trying to get to, you got to look at it and assess. If that makes sense. I know I just went on a rant there.
Oh, that's straight money and straight fire, brother. Like seriously, you're spitting it. And I'm going to go in since you're taking it there. You were tiptoeing around fixed and growth mindsets. You know, the fixed
Yes, please
mindset.
break that down.
Okay,
Yes.
so Carol Dweck, very famous psychologist, she's credited with her work on growth mindset. And really, a fixed mindset basically says, you know, I'm born this way. You know what I'm saying? So let me give you a prime
Yep.
example. I'm not good at math because I'm from learning disabled, so I can't go to college because I'm born. I can't learn. That is a
Right. I'm white
fixed
trash. I'm Irish, so I drink.
money. Fixed. You're static. You ain't. You're basically just going through the motions. Where on the other hand, the growth mindset is one that says the amount of effort that I put into something, as long as it's optimized, is whether or not there are results. So you could grow into learning. You could grow at any age, and neuroscience has already proven through neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to fire new neurons and make new connections throughout the entirety of our lives. So we are blessed
Entirety.
and we are fortunate. We are blessed and we are fortunate to have a mind that is capable of comprehending something as powerful as the grand unified theory or Albert Einstein's theory of relativity with E equals mc squared. The human mind, AI didn't create this. In fact, humans created AI. Let's get it right.
Ooh,
Let's
tell
look
it.
at the architecture. Let's look at the architecture of the Egypt, of ancient Arabia, of ancient Europe. None of that was built with any computer, any cell phone, and yet we would consider them primitive. And those buildings, I'm sorry, when I look at those when they were beautiful. So this is an example of what human potential can do if you are devoted with your passions and your purposes. It's amazing. The human race can be inspiring, and it's that dichotomy that you were talking about, and at the same time disappointing, and it's a choice.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's and when you just thought about when I just heard of ancient Africa, ancient Egypt, ancient Europe, all the things in the arts, even the Great Wall of China, so on and so forth, right? All these amazing things. They was definitely starving some distractions, and we know some of those people were being starved for labor anyway. But the vision was brought on by F all distractions. We're focused on this and this alone, and this is what the focus is going to be. You can see it with the founding documents of this nation of the United States of America. People still are, wow, how could they not know what was going to come technology wise? But all of these things still, work out in our society, given what they drafted because they made that their focus and they sat in them Philadelphia or Boston little houses and just sweat all summer with their long socks and their weird stuff, but they focus. No distractions. This is what the focus is going to be. And I agree with you, man. The human potential is amazing, and all these tools and things like that. Like I like what Anna Lemke says. She talked about, like if you're not paying for a product, you are the product. And so many
Mm-hmm.
of us, we've made these things, and now we're playing ourselves, and we're
Absolutely.
fooling ourselves. And it's alluring. It's made that way. It's designed that way. But why can't we use it to optimize ourselves? Vice bring us down. Like we like make these tools work for us. Like we're so smart. Sometimes we're idiots because we make the tools work against us instead of for us. You know what I mean? Like who would I think Ronnie Chang said it in one of his comedy specials. He was like, "Who would have thought having all of the world's information at your fingertips would have made us so freaking stupid?" You know what I'm
No,
saying? Like
spot on.
you have the Library of Alexandria at your fingertips, but yet we're like doing whatever we're doing, right? So you can use it for good, just like anything else. Yeah, we're playing
I
ourselves
have a lot of
and not
respect for
living our potential. Say again.
absolutely, absolutely. I have a lot of respect for artificial intelligence. And I don't want people to get me wrong when I get into this, because I use it to optimize my life. But let me tell you
Yeah.
something. You can't rely on it. And I think a lot of vets are falling into this trap right now. Like I look at portfolios and they're built by ChatGPT, and they're missing the human elements. They're missing the things that that make it special. So let's talk curriculum development real quick. Now, you being a drill instructor, you know when you're giving a class, you got the goal mess. Well, whether or not you knew it, that's actually built from theory, adult learning theory. So I'm telling you, the military does it right. It's amazing how well they do it. So when you see a drill instructor give a class at the RTF, man, it's beautiful. It's inspiring.
What is?
There's not
Oh, that
a
that G, that gain attention is amazing. For those who don't know, I want to go down memory lane real quick. When we teach the history of one of the most forgotten conflicts in U.S. history, but we try not to forget it in the Marine Corps history. When you look at the Korean conflict of 1950, the way they come into the classroom is, and this happened to me when I was a recruit as well, and I watched it play out as a hat when I was there as a drill instructor. But you got these, these young men and women, they're going through recruit training. They got to understand our history, our culture. They got to be thoroughly indoctrinated in all of it. So we teach them the history. So when they go into the class on Korea, the Korean War, the conflict, right? They come in and they go, "Stop, everybody! Look at me right now. Um, just last night, North Korea invaded South Korea. They crossed the parallel. Your training has been shortened, and next week you will be leaving on trains to go to the West Coast to board ships to be able to go over to the Pacific to fight for democracy, essentially. Who wants to still be here?" And I'm talking about some of them kids start crying. But you talk about goal mess. Goal mess is the first G is to gain attention. You talk about gaining attention, and then they go, "Well, if you were here in 1950, that's what you would have just been told." You talk about gaining somebody's attention to learn a class on history. Never felt so real before in the whole world. So that's just an anecdote of what Twig's saying about how beautiful it is, how these individuals can teach and instruct, and they're teaching our culture, our history. And if you were in that seat in 1950, your ass will be about to get on a train and go over there, because some people didn't even go to boot camp. They just got pulled off the street and put on a ship and learned their job on the way over. Read Colder Than Hell. You'll learn some more things and appreciate. But that's just a taste of what he's describing of how beautiful the teaching is. So did I hit that? Did I nail it?
man. You're brilliant, man, dude. There's I'm very lucky to have you in my life, man. Like you're on point.
I'm lucky to have you,
You're
brother.
so artificial intelligence can't do that, bro, and it smells. So when people send me the resumes and they just copied and pasted, hey, learning and development director or look, come on, rely on what you know, but put in the work in that black
That's right.
box. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We have such beautiful potential. Humans, out. I'm in a fight right now against AI. I've been in a fight against. I got it. I got it. There's certain things it could do better than us, bro. It could crunch numbers like no other. It could run some data analysis. It could do some impressive things. The things that it can't do is it can't reach out a hand and pick someone up when they are
Mm.
experiencing their lowest self. And this isn't something that you do passively. If you want to live your best life, okay, you get more by giving yourself away. Now, you have to be cognizant and aware of who you're giving yourself to. And that's
Yes.
why I don't have Facebook, and I have a very I have a large number of acquaintances, but very few friends, and even less family, to include my own blood.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, it just is what it is when it comes to feeding the focus, feeding the passion, and starving the distractions. And unfortunately, some of other humans are our number one distractions, and they can be energy vampires, and it's not reciprocal all the time of that steel sharpens steel. It's just take, and the negative and the negative. But one thing AI can't do is console you and be there for you in that human way, right? Like what I just described about coming in there with that class and gaining their AI could never do that and make them feel the fear of, oh my God, I'm about to go to this thing. So it is imperative upon us right now, especially at this time in history, to use it as the tool so that we can better do the human things that only we can do. But we'll see how that works out, right? Because err on the side of caution, but I agree with you 100%. I don't think AI is our enemy. I do miss when AI just meant Allen Iverson. I do miss when that acronym just meant that. But anyways,
those were the days back then, man. Let me tell you something. We didn't have phones pulling us away. We used to actually look each other in the eye. And when First Battalion was marching, you had your own specific cadence. And when Third Battalion was coming, let me tell you something. I wanted to bleed from my eyes. I wanted to bleed from my nose. I didn't care as much as you did about drill. I'm going to put it out there. First Battalion, you guys put, you know what we cared about? Discipline.
Discipline,
Discipline.
spirit, and discipline. Look, man,
And,
I recently
hey,
had I had the opportunity. Look, look. I'm Lima Company
yeah,
born. I was born in Third Battalion. That's where I was made.
yeah,
But I got this last year. I went down to Paris Island for a mess night. If my drill instructors in Lima Company could have saw my dumbass being the guest speaker at a mess night for Lima Company, they're probably rolling in their graves. I mean, they're just like, what? Who'd y'all pick? That nasty recruit? I was an early child, late child recruit. I was disgusting. But we're all a work in progress. So but yeah, I got love for the third as well, man.
yeah. And I'll be honest with you, because it's really indicative that we are our thoughts right there. It goes to show you, you know what I'm saying? Like what we put our emphasis on is what distinguishes us from the others, you
It
know.
is. It
And
is.
one of the things that I always carried with me inside my heart of hearts is that we are all fundamentally the same. We want the same things. We have the same desires, the same
Yes.
dreams, the same fears. We are
Same.
all the same. So when I see a drill instructor from First Battalion, I'm going to be like, "Oh yeah, you're nasty." But I'm saying that out of love, you know,
Yeah,
and
of
you know
course.
exactly what I'm saying. You know
Oh yeah.
exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
I would
Exactly.
never intentionally kick hate like a troll. You know, trolls are sad because they got where they are most of the time by pointing out other people's mistakes, not on their own competency. You see what I'm saying? So they want to peacock when the time comes. You know, first sergeants out there and they're like, well, you know, hey, Cam, if you look at his recruits weren't didn't have their fingers, you know, thumb fingers aligned and joined. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't have making the claw when they racked that back. They were all busted, pointing out everything that's
Right.
wrong with your camp, but they're not pointing any fingers here. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, most
Those
definitely. Yeah.
those they fall so hard, and they're for real. They're not even worth your time. They really, truly, truly
I,
aren't. Don't
yeah,
invest
and
into that
one
nonsense.
thing I've been reading. No, you got to be careful with that energy and where you invest it into, because as you said, you only got so much bandwidth, so you got to be very careful with where you place that energy at, and who you allow to take from that energy. But yeah, I mean, I've been reading something recently. I see it pop up all the time of, don't take advice from somebody whose life you don't want, basically, right? Like, um, and that doesn't mean that people can't make a good observation, but you gotta, check your source. And we all go through things. I think most people at some point, I've been a negative person before at different times, but like, how's that working out for you? That usually doesn't really help, and it's really easy to state a problem, but like, I think Teddy Roosevelt said it, like, stating a problem without a solution is called whining. Like, it's really easy to point out and on a Monday and break down the film of the NFL quarterbacks that messed up yesterday, but it's like, you have no idea where the game is at right now. You have no idea the preparation, the studying, and you didn't have, a 300, 400 pound person wanting to take your head off at the same time at that moment. So it's real easy to next day in a comfortable, convenient position of AC, nice suit, to be able to break down and say, well, they're critical in this way. It's one thing to, obviously, we can all get sharper and get better, but at the same time, stating a problem with no solution is just called whining. And I ask everyone out there, are you part of the problem or are you part of the solution? Ask yourself that, and you answer that every single day. What we're trying to do right now, and this is not to, toot our own horns, but it's to be able to reach someone out there. And I know for a fact, this episode, this knowledge, this wisdom shared is going to help someone. If nobody else, has helped me, because I've taken some copious notes, and it's going to help somebody else be better. And that's what we're here for, man. Because what you said it, you posted it the other day, and then I hit it up with, I think I kind of echoed it with the Viktor Frankl quote. But like, you gain everything by going in service outside of yourself. I think he said, Viktor Frankl, look that person up. You want to talk about resilience, but he had said that, for success, like happiness cannot be pursued. it must ensue, and it only does so as one's personal dedication to a cause greater than oneself or to a person other than oneself. I think I paraphrased it pretty good enough, but that's the essentialness. We all want to be happy, we all want to be successful, but you're not going to find that just by dwelling on the inside of you and just me, and pointing out negative. Go out and help someone else. And maybe the only reason why you're going through the shit you're going through is so that you can show someone else how to get through it later on, because it hits different, brother. AI will never be able to look at you in the eyes and go, bro, I know what you're saying. I feel you. I've been there. Like, AI will never be able to say that. It won't, because it hasn't been. But another human that's gone through that, and maybe the only reason why we go through certain trials and tribulations and struggles and grievings and things of that nature is so we could take that and make that better for somebody else. I don't know. It's just something that keeps me going. It makes me not want to just bang my head against the wall, right?
Yeah, I love that you're bringing up Viktor Frankl. His book, Man in Search of Meaning, is one of the most powerful books ever written.
Ever, ever, ever.
Highly recommend it. What that individual went through and how he processed, and his mindset is absolutely a testament to what is possible for us to do inside of ourselves.
Yes.
Prime example, I get a little bit mad if the waitress brings me my coffee and it has too much cream in it. You know what I'm saying? This is the type of petty shenanigans that I'm getting worked up about in life, where there's individuals that have gone through some incredible strife, hard times, you know. Um, Another thing that you were getting into when you were talking, and my mind was feasting on it, focusing. I'm feeding my focus, and it was brilliant. You were basically dancing around the schism in communication, and what I mean is like, in this information age, everyone's talking and no one's listening. Absolutely zero. People are talking over each other. It's just madness. And I'm sitting back and I'm watching. I'm like, what's the point? What is this megaverse of mouth accomplishing? And I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be just another voice in a useless. I want to be. I want to have a nerdy voice where I actually touch one person's life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's
In a
that's
positive
what
way.
it's about. Yeah. You know,
In a positive
here's
way.
here's a thought experiment, and I think it's one of the most brilliant things ever said. It comes from a guy named Maynard James Keenan. He said, "The world will never know world peace until three people can simultaneously look each other in the eye. The world will never know world peace until three people can simultaneously look each other in the eye."
How you do that unless you had like one of them like wandering eyes or some shit. So I think we far from peace then, if that's the case. Like, that's crazy.
But
It's deep though.
you want peace because you're trying to imagine it. You're putting the vision into your brain, dog. You put that peace vision because you love humanity. It's a thought. It's a thought experiment to get people to think about peace, because when we put that input into our mind, we bring world peace. It's one of the most profound things ever said. I love it. Maynard James is very eccentric. He's a lead singer of rock and roll. I know that might not be people's genres in some places, but the dude is a genius. The dude is a genius. And I highly recommend looking out some of his creative, open your mind to understand some of his creative perspective. Cam, I'll tell you how much I respect this man. Okay, I'm not a fan, I'm not a fanatic, but I respect greatness. We talked about Michael Jordan
Right.
because I'm old school. I'm old dog. Michael was amazing. I studied greatness. You know what I'm saying? Messi. I love soccer. I love soccer. So I love the greats. And Maynard James is great. Dog, he took a song and hid what's called the Fibonacci sequence in it. Now, the Fibonacci sequence is a rule in calculus that has a rhythm to it. It has a different rhythm. I'm not going to go into the specific science of it because there's no need. But he projected it, that he interpreted it, and he put it into the sequencing of the music. He put it into his lyrics. And you know what the Fibonacci creates? It creates a spiral. And inside the song, he says spiral out. So he never tells you he did this. He left people to discover what the song's about because they create music that inspires thought. It provokes thought.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's human potential. That's human potential. That's something when you study the great ones, when you study greatness, Muhammad Ali, coming out tonight. This is going to sound corny, whatnot, but I'm keeping it real with you. And you know I'm a nerd. You know what I was envisioning as we were getting ready, as our computers were lighting up and we're getting ready to go into this? I'm putting into my mind that I'm Mike Tyson, Iron Mike Tyson. I'm going to uppercut this. I'm going to uppercut this conversation's nose and put it in his brain.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I'm Mike Tyson. And I'm going to give my heart to Cam's mission because I believe in it. This isn't no bullshit. I'm not just saying this. I'm literally, I want to put everything I got so people come out of here today and they know that they could do it. I know that they could do it, but it doesn't matter. And you know they could do it. It doesn't matter that Coach Cam knows you could do it. They got to know that they could do it. Period, bro.
That's right. Yeah. Got to. Yeah. No, I love it, dude. And I mean, and that's the thing too. What I love and what I've always loved is your enthusiasm. And Ralph Waldo Emerson got a great quote on enthusiasm, how infectious it is and how imperative it is to have. Because, but here's the thing: like we're here anyway. We might as well give our best. Is the way I look at it. Like we might as well give our very best because you people, I got the tattoo of the Jim Carrey, the effect you have on others is the most valuable currency there is. You are having an effect whether you want to or not. So you may as well do what you're describing and have a good one. You got to be in the fight, so you might as well win. If I got to punch you, I might as well punch your nose into your brain. Like, why not give your very best and to have that full potential? Because that's where like you really feel alive. And if we all look back on your life, everybody listening right now, on the things that you're most proud of, not in a pride kind of way, in a selfish, arrogant pride, but the things that you go, man, that moment or that relationship or that conversation, it usually didn't come without any effort. It didn't come usually without some type of strife. The easy things are not the things that we remember, but to be grateful for the struggle. Again, you don't want to be a masochist. You don't want to just do weird stuff to just like, hurt yourself or anything like that. But that challenge and that seeking, that continual maintaining momentum of growth, that matters, man. That's human. That's living. That's an action verb, to live. I just went on a rant. Sorry.
No, bro, I'm telling you, like, I would feel sorry if we were in a bar right now and some dudes walked in and threw alcohol in your face. They could throw it in mine, bro. They could throw it in mine, and I would be like, okay, you got that bet. Hey, Cam, let's go. I'm gonna be the bitch tonight. I'm a bitch out. I'm gonna walk out. But if they throw it in your face, I'm ripping their fucking heads off, man. I'm coming from beyond the dimension they've never seen. Like that's legit
Where is this
because
guy
my
coming
respect
from?
for you, because of my respect and love for you, because you're giving everything you got. People need to listen to you, man. They need to be taking notes from you. And I am. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm in the mosh pit of learning with you, man. That's why I'm enthusiastic.
No, you
I'm
gotta be.
I love it, man.
You gotta be. It's infectious. We're here anyway. We might as well make the best of it and might as well make somebody else better while we at it, because it's really, and we joked about it before the thing started, but like Denzel said in that one commencement speech at University of Pennsylvania, he's like, you know, you can't take none of these physical things with you. The Egyptians tried that. All they got was robbed. Like, you'll never see a U-Haul following a hearse. So what's the effect that you're having on others? And if you haven't done that so far, well, there's no time like right now to switch the style up. And if they hate, then let them hate, but let the impacts and positivity pile up. Oh, I just plagiarized the shit out of that rhyme, but you know what I'm saying? But why not have a good effect? Why not? Like, we're here anyway. And it's Like you said earlier about the show, like I hope it's successful, but it's not about me, man. It's about hopefully that this can reach somebody, because I didn't really see any other platforms really going here on these subjects about, depression, to talk about human growth and human potential and the pain, and how real suicide is and how much it impacts us. And like, I didn't really see anybody having like real consistent conversations on this stuff. So that was what, what did they say? The mother of invention is need, right? So that's how this started. But I swear, to the day I die, I do not make money off of this show. I will not do ads unless they somehow make me or some shit, like to continue to put it out for free for Spotify for podcasters. It used to be Anchor, but it's to reach people and to try to let people know, number one, you're not alone. And I want to have so many different guests on here, because like, everyone identifies with somebody, and you never know. Like, I could say this stuff all day long and they hear it and they're like, okay, I'm saying that shit again. But when Ernest said it, when Lucy said it, when Miss Rosie said it on the last episode, or whomever, it hits different because that person is relatable to you, or that person speaks your language, or has that cadence that resonates with you. And maybe, like so many things when we're growing up, you hear it a million times, but just it doesn't hit. And then it hits when you said it. Right. And that's the idea, and to have real talk on these subjects, because I think that it's imperative that we have to be honest about, hey, man, like, life sucks, but how can we keep moving forward through it? And that's human survival. That's the human experience, is to keep moving forward, and then hopefully bring some other people with you. Right. And help some other people out while you're here. Right. In this short, finite amount of time. And that's what kind of keeps me doing it. But I've told everybody, and I'll say it when we close out on this episode, Keep Sweat, baby. I am sponsored by nobody. We ain't sponsored by nobody on the show. I ain't, you know what? Inspired by the First Amendment, right? Thankful for that thing right there. I love it. I'll die for it. All of them amendments, but also inspired by Dr. Maya Angelou, who you reminded me of when you said earlier we all want the same, because she said at one point, she said, we're more alike than unalike. That was her quote. We're more
Absolutely.
alike than unalike.
We
But
can frame this.
she also said, if you don't like something, you change it. If you can't change it, you change your attitude. Like, that's everything of what we're talking about. If you don't like something, change it. Change it. Just went on a rant again.
No, it's so funny because you're bringing up all these powerful names of dynamic individuals that stood out. And the reason why they stood out, they had purpose, they had meaning, they had discipline to do it anyways. I always used to tell recruits and Marines, do it anyways. Do it anyways. I don't like to read. Do it anyways. Do it anyways. Let me tell you something. So I've I've been learning Spanish, so that I wanted to just reach out and learn something new. You know what I'm saying? Look, it's painful. It's painful to try something new and stretch those neurons that you've never used in your brain. And when I first started, you were talking about right here, right now. I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to read a book in Spanish to learn. Now, my wife is from Argentina, and now fairly, I speak decent Spanish now. But when I first started, I read The Power of Now. It's a book by Eckhart Tolle. Okay, and so inside this, you could see what kind of nightmare. I'm just like you. I'm just like you. I underlined. I had to translate.
Yes.
This was a black box. You know what I'm saying? This was a black box. But I made it through. I made it through, and it didn't kill me. And oh, by the way, I'm taking energy away from the haters, the self hate, that self hate that we all feel from some. Oh, you're so stupid, or why couldn't you do this, or you're a failure, or whatever. And I'm putting it into something that's going to change my life. It's going to be dynamic. And yeah, it works. So getting back to the power of now, Eckhart Tolle, he says something, very, very, very profound. And he basically sums up that there's no such thing as the past. There's no such thing. The past is a concept that just keeps reformulating inside your mind. And the future doesn't exist as well. That's your imagination. That's your imagination. But when you just take a second and you see that there's no fire, inside of the house. You have, you know, you have your health for wherever it is that you are at. It could be worse. You see what I'm saying? Um, when you draw your attention and your focus into the now and you start dedicating and executing, that's when you're going to feel happier. Excellent book. So the three books that I would recommend to all of the listeners, um, I'm going to do it in levels. So to start easier, I would go with the power of now. It's less, it's more spiritual, even though it doesn't have a religion, if that makes sense.
Right,
It's
right,
more
right.
spiritual in
No,
that
most
nature.
definitely. Yeah, I'm glad you said that too, because so many people right now, especially when we talk about spiritual fitness, just automatically assume, oh, chaplains, oh, religion. Oh, hell no, it's not just that. Like I tell people all the time, the Constitution is spiritual to me because it's bigger than me. You know what I mean? It's bigger than me, and I have to show up for it. This conversation that we've had to me has been spiritual because it
Yes, absolutely.
rejuvenates me, it feeds me, what gets you out of bed every morning, that's freaking spiritual. It could be religion, but it could also be I want to serve. I want to help somebody. I want to be a good dad today. So let's not throw the baby out the bathwater or just typecast something and put it in a box and say spiritual is religion because it's not. It could be, but it's not just that. So thank you for saying that.
No, I appreciate you clarifying that. The next book, you already know it, love it. Jim Quick, Limitless. Now this gets a little bit more advanced. It's a step up. You see what I'm saying? We want to build upon
Yeah.
our successes. We want to build upon our successes. I would read it, reread it. It's funny because I've already read it three times and I'm back at it. I'm like you, I underline, I go back and I reinforce those nuggets because in neuroscience, you got recall, repetition, and planned spacing. So if you want your mind to learn faster, you have to take a break from something. You have to. It's proven. That's why cramming the night prior to an exam never works. It's spaced, short repetition that you need. And that this book, Jim Quick, he gives you all the tools that you need to get inside of the mosh pit of learning and learn how to do incredible things in a very short period of time. All right. Now, I
Okay, that's
already
called
showed you
optimization. I like that.
the organized mind. The organized mind. This is exactly how you were just talking. It's scientifically laden, but the great part about that book is that you will get golden nuggets that are bona fide on empirical science. So
Yeah.
we're balancing your mind with a little bit of spiritual fitness and then some scientific fitness. You see, and like we were saying, I could jump from many genres of music. So from Master P, I could go from Master P to Tool. You know what I'm saying? Like in a
Oh,
heartbeat.
wait
You
a
see what
minute,
I'm saying?
Jennings. What's up?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
We about to
Um,
spiral out, mo. Start.
yeah, absolutely. Because that song that he's talking about, the spiral out, is what we're doing right now, bro. We're spiraling. We're creating this reality that we're living in by projecting that cognitive map. So the room that you're sitting in with the microphone right now, you are receiving those like the matrix. Okay, you're receiving those signals and then you're projecting it back out.
Oh, oh, is it coming back?
Uh-oh. Sorry, everybody. We had a little technical difficulty right there. Um, it's okay. It's all good. We're just gonna keep it going, but we're firing off the neurons. I'm gonna see if my man comes back for a second. But to recap real quick, remember the power now, the Eckhart Tolle, the Jim Quick, the Limitless, right? That's a good one. And then we also got the organized mind. I'm gonna see what's happening with this right quick. My man's coming back, and that's good. It gives us time to more chat. He's coming back right now on the cues. Yep, I see him loading. He's loading on here, and this is just the way we apply resilience because we're just gonna keep pushing forward. We're gonna keep pushing forward. That's what we do. Sometimes there's the hiccups. Sometimes we had you saw that.
we just had a contact right, and guess what we do? We reassess, we search, and we keep moving. We keep moving forward. You know what I did with that time? I just reiterated the three titles that you just said. So it was a good time. We had a good time in the break, uh, in our intermission. But that's what we do. We keep moving forward. But the organized mind, who wrote that book?
So he's Daniel J. Levitin. So
Okay, all right.
Levitin,
I'm gonna
and he's
Google
a
that shit. It's gonna be like, "Did you mean?" And I'm gonna find my way. So it's cool. AI is cool.
yes sir, yes sir. He's got some really great nuggets in there, especially with the way that we could optimize and automate our lives. Now, to your point, we got to get the phone out of our life, but I do agree with having technology do its job, take care of the small shit for us. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Like
Yeah.
if I could automate, if I could get, remembering dates and remembering phone numbers and all the lists that that thing does off of my plate, I could focus on the things that I love. I could spend more time devoted to the things I love. He talks about that. He goes into some really great theory on it, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. Just a random fact, he said inside there that there are something like 20,000 biological documents on the um, vertebrae of a squid. So there's 20,000 scholarly papers that exist on it, and he says you have to watch out for the sources where you're going to get your information. That's going to be the problem of the future. So yeah, you could fall for trolls, you could fall for misinformation, you could fall for Wikipedia because Wikipedia isn't based on legitimate facts. So I love that tip. Be cognizant, be aware of your sources. Look at what they want, look at their motives. It's okay to question everything. That's the beauty of having
Yes.
this
Got
this
to.
this 3 pound or sorry this you know 20-watt flesh quantum computer that created artificial intelligence that put individuals in space that have done the incredible, bro. Honestly, I wake up and I have groggy days. You were asking me, well, what do you do on the days that you don't feel
Oh, uh-oh, lost you again. Thought we lost him again. But no, he's right to that point about all the times to where you the good things we can use our technology for. I think we're at a time right now, and he just hit that point about the misinformation is probably our biggest enemy right now. So I guess got to reiterate the point he just made about making sure that we check our sources and making sure that we're getting good sources. And he talked about rereading some of these books. That Power Now, I say you read it a few times. The Jim Quick, the three times he's read it. That that book by Viktor Frankl, A Man's Search for Meaning, y'all. I've read that thing front to back, and I'm actually rereading it again right now. Like rereading it right now. And every time you find something new in there, and it's just that continued nourishment and that continued growing of things. It matters, man. It matters. It matters, and it matters that we keep on pursuing what we got to do.
And now we're back for part two of the episode 65 with the one and only Ernest Twigg, everybody.
Yeah, hey, technical difficulty. I think it's because we were talking shit on AI, man. It got mad and was like, you know what? Let me show you, let me show you what a tool I could be, bro. Let me show you what a tool I could be.
man? Hey, bro, check this out. It's funny that you say that. I was gonna create a post on LinkedIn today that said this specific. It's so weird how the mind works. I said, with the advent of AI, I feel like as you look at the screen, it looks bad.
Yeah, yeah. I think it hurt us. It was like, you know
You know
what,
what
man?
I'm
Y'all
saying?
talking too much stuff about me. Had to get us back, man. But no, just to recap what we was talking about right before we took our intermission. You had said about the three books that you'd recommend, which is pivotal or is vital because I always try to leave people with tangible tools. It's one thing to come up here and just be like happy talk, right? But it's another thing to give people actual like tangible things that they can do and apply. So I appreciate that. But just to recap on it, you said The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, you've read, and then Jim Quick Limitless, read it up to 3 times already, and then The Organized Mind by Daniel Levitin. I can't say it, but Google gonna say, "Did you mean?" And I'm gonna find that damn title. But to anybody out there listening that wants to, you know, fuel your mind, I think I quote Zig Ziglar a lot because he's just somebody who inspires the hell out of me. But he has an analogy, and I always ask people when I do public speaking, would you drive your car until it runs out of gas? On purpose? Like, no. Like, obviously, if you're going overseas, you got to store your car, so you got to get the tank real low. But like nobody would logically on purpose run your gas tank on down the fumes. But so what we do, we stop, we fill up our tank, right? And that's great, but we often, especially people today, but I would say arguably males, and more specifically Marines, we will run our tank until it's completely empty and we're on the side of the road and we have to call for emergency assistance when we could have just stopped and got some fuel and filled up our tank. So the analogy that Zig Ziglar says, that we treat our cars better than we treat ourselves as humans. And everything you just shared with those three books and the other things we discussed is fuel for the tank, is fuel for our tanks, instead of waiting until we're on empty, until waiting until it's an emergency and we're on roadside, we need assistance, we got to pull out the Pioneer gear and put out all the triangles and the flare. Nah, man, we could have just filled up our tank, we could have avoided all that shit. And here's just a few ways, these three books right here, that helps this man fill up his tank, and it may help you as well. So just had to do that plug, a recap.
Yeah, I have my own personal way of looking at it is like I'm a real big fan of the movie The Matrix, and you know where Neo he's laying back and he inserts the Matrix into his head, and he's like downloading kung fu. You know, he's like, I've learned kung
Yeah, yeah,
fu.
yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
So every single book back there, I've truly read, and for me, it's like I'm downloading kung fu, except
Right,
I'm learning how to organize my mind. I'm learning how to be
right,
limitless and live in the power of now. You know, so for me, reading is a very powerful thing. And with some veterans, I come, I hate reading. Okay, well, guess what? They got audiobooks now, man. Your
there it
computer
is, get
will
your
pull it
audible.
up, and you all you got to do is click a few things, and it'll read to you. You know, hey Siri, read this to me.
She'll do it. She'll do it.
Absolutely. So
Yeah, no,
there's
it's
no
many
excuse.
forms, no excuse. You know what's funny is you talk about Jim Quick. You know what's funny? You know, people say they fall asleep when they're reading, right? And he broke. I watched him break down one time on one of his episodes. He broke down that like it's all about the posture, because what do we do when we go to read? Like we slump a little bit, kind of look down a little bit, kind of get comfy a little bit. Like no shit, we get tired, man. It's not just because of looking at the words, and I do think there's something there, right? But what he was saying was the posture in which we do it. And so when I read, I honestly I had to stand, right? I had to stand, or I will go to sleep. But it's all about that posture. And then with all the stuff we got now, man, with I got this laptop right now on one of these little frames that you can hold your stuff up, and it's real simple and it's cheap or whatever like that. But that's one of those things. Are you willing to look for a new way, or apply a new method of how to read, how to pull in information? Because I love audible books, like, but it depends on who the narrator is. If I dig your voice, some voices I just can't stand, man. I'll do the sample and I'll be like, I can't listen to this. But like if it's like Mel Robbins or like Tony Robbins or man, the Four Agreements, Don Miguel Ruiz. He had the same dude who narrated the Peter Coyote. He narrated the Vietnam series on PBS, the Ken Burns documentary. Same dude who narrates his book. So I was like, I'm all in. I've listened to that book like 8 times. I just like the dude's voice, you know what I'm saying? Because that just helps me audibly. But you gotta be creative in how like receive. That's where good old Marine Corps mantra of knowing yourself and seeking self improvement. You got to learn yourself, and sometimes it's just a matter of knowing how to deal with your crazy ass self. Everybody, so never stop self actualizing. Right? Like it's know yourself and know how to deal with your crazy self. And sometimes sitting slumped in a chair is going, yeah, you gonna fall asleep because you're in a slump position, bro. I mean, there it is. But Jim Quick, sorry, I had to share that because Jim Quick, man, Jim Quick, look that man up, man. It's good, but it's a good point. I never thought about that. Like, I don't fall asleep because I'm tired or because of reading. I fall asleep because I'm sitting like a lazy ass. Maybe that's why. Yeah.
And it's funny, we put the effort, our body illustrates the effort that we're putting into something. You know what I'm saying? When you're in when you're engaged in a conversation, you know when people are feeling your vibe. You people are up in it. You know when someone's not listening to you. You know what I'm saying? They're looking away or they're typing on
Yes.
their yeah. You know what I'm saying? Being present in that conversation requires your full attention. And if you're going to read or listen to an audiobook, one, you like to do if you like the way he flows, okay, boom, make it easy for yourself. You optimize by making it easy for yourself. It's also content. Look, you brought up the four agreements, right? Okay, boom, bet. Absolutely. Be impeccable to your word. That's that first one. You know what I'm saying? Like the wisdom that he goes through there with how we were talking about communication, and Don Miguel likens the, the word to a magic spell. We go around casting
Yes.
spells all day
Casting
long.
spells all
That's
day
right.
long. Yes.
So prime example inside the book, the four agreements that you were just talking about, um, he talks about a mother who has a migraine. She gets home and her daughter's singing, you know, and she loves her daughter. This is the person she loves the most in the world, but she's got a migraine, and her work day was filled with all the stresses that you and I have gone through. So her daughter's singing, and she's like, "Shut up! You got an ugly voice." The magic spell is just
Mm.
now caught. It's
That
been
spell
cast.
is casted in that baby's head. Yeah. And she never sing again. Yep. It's the same with they talk about gossip a lot too, like in there, and how in the ancient Toltecs, like they thought gossip was literally poison because they were casting ill spells. And you think about what gossip leads to. Just think about what you do with consulting in workplaces. Like how much of it is gossip and toxicity and resentment and tension based off of just carrying tales and just talking shit and just gossiping. But gossip comes in many forms. Obviously, it's, you can watch the E-News network, or you could just sit there and doom scroll, but it's essentially gossip. It's information about other people that's not of a positive nature, right? And even then, like, you could positively gossip as well, but you're just admiring everyone else, but you're not living your own life, right? Like, so I'm gonna tell anybody out there that four agreements is so simple and concise. It's almost like Full Metal Jacket. Like the first part of the movie is awesome, and then it kind of goes off to the side. Like I like the first like 60% of that book, and then after that, I'm like, where are we going? I don't know, but I'm happy I'm here for the ride. But when he breaks down the four agreements, there is not anything that nobody can't take away from it. It is so positive. I recommend it all the time. It's one of the best books ever because you always think about being impeccable with your word. Say again.
Do the Be impeccable. Don't make assumptions. Number two, don't make
Yep.
assumptions, because we're constantly in our mind assuming that, oh man, you know what? They're not going to hire me. They're not going to hire me because of X, Y, and Z. And so I might as well not even bother to put that application in. And then boom, now you got a limiting belief. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
yeah, the
Yes.
four agreements is actual, like, real wisdom. And it you were talking about the cheese maze. So in Spanish, he's talking about that gossip. It's called cheese maze in Espanol, and so he calls that the mitote, gran mitote. It's in
Yes.
total. It's the communication that of a billion voices that are all talking, saying a whole bunch of hoopla, and no one's listening. It's just running at the same time, like what we were talking about before. You see what I'm saying? And the whole thing is that you do not have to agree with joining that metote. You can live authentic, and living authentic means picking out the things you love, picking out the things. Look, I stopped living my life trying to impress people well before the Marine Corps. You know what I'm saying? Like I there's times where I slip and I fall. Like with someone I love and have a lot of respect for. You know,
Right.
but
Right.
to be honest with you, in the end, I'm I'm my greatest critic, and I've got to live authentically. And
Got to.
my path is not Cam's path. I'm not going to be a world famous podcaster. This will probably be my last podcast, you know, probably ever. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Till our
being
next
legit.
episode. Yeah.
Tomorrow. No,
Yeah.
but in all seriousness, we live different lives, and my opinion holds no more value, no more weight than yours. And because I understand that, I'm so free, bro. My mind is so free. I could walk into any room and fear none of their assumptions. You see what I'm saying? I'm not making any of those assumptions. I just go in there and I'm just me. I'm just Ernest. I'm just being me. And the haters, man, I do like haters, and I'm sorry. I like them because they make me better. Because I don't listen to their noise. You know what I listen to? Their feedback.
Mm, mm.
They make me
Well,
better
it's like you said
every
about that
single time.
heat-seeking missile, right? That negative feedback.
They make me better every single time. I'm not saying I respect the hater because they're using their words for black magic. They're using their words to
Oh,
hurt someone. You see what I'm saying? But what they don't realize is I read the four agreements. That stuff don't work on me. I downloaded that into my mainframe, and now I'm
that's
walking
right.
and talking it. So we could go all night. Let me tell you something. You are a blessing. You are a gift of this world. And
Thank you, brother.
no, thank you for allowing me this platform. Uh,
For
it's
real,
been
man.
a
Always.
long time since I've had the ability to express some of my views. And to be honest with you, some of the people they don't got time to hear me talk. You know what I'm saying? They don't got time for all that nonsense, and I respect that. Okay, got it. Bet. But you opened up your house for me. You brought me in,
Sure
and I
did.
have to give you a
Always.
genuine hug and tell you, man, love and respect you. Your mission is brilliant. If you save one life tonight, no, um, I'm all about it, man. And I know
That was worth it.
uh, uh, you got a you got one last question for me that I think
I
is,
do.
is
I do.
the most important. It is.
I do. That's why I always save it to the end, man. And just I thank you, man. You're definitely a hero of mine, a superhero of mine, someone I admire and respect. And I'm telling y'all, man, you got to check out this man's book, listen to him, follow him on LinkedIn. It's nothing but pure fuel for your tank, and I just appreciate you, man, and the impact you've had on so many, to include me, man. And I got nothing but love for you. And if, like I tell a lot of people, we get off this episode, you're like, you know what I should have said, you know what I could have. Hey, let's do it again. Like that's all I'm saying. But I will ask you this, because this is the root of this whole show, is to allow people to know that it's okay not to be okay. Just don't stay that way, right? But death by suicide, man, it's on the rise like never before. We are off the charts right now as a nation. I can't get into the specifics of the work that I do on a daily, but I'll just say things aren't good right now, and we have got to be better, and we have got to approach things with a different perspective, a different something. So what I always ask everyone, because we always want to say things afterwards, and we do candlelight vigils and we do RIPs and we do all the good things, and it's all with good intentions, but it's after. It's after. I'm trying to stay left of bang. I'm trying to stay upstream. I'm trying to prevent things. I'm trying to not only keep people alive, but help them thrive. So my question to you, my friend, is if someone is out there listening right now and they're thinking about taking their own life, and they're I'm done with this life stuff, man. I'm about to check out, and they're about to make that permanent solution for a temporary problem, which is their current circumstances. If you had the opportunity to, what would you say to that person?
There are going to be people that miss you, but not only are they going to miss you, you were put on this planet to fulfill your destiny. So whatever it is that you do, whatever it is that you bring to the table, you're going to rob other individuals that have been suffering, that have been hurting, because they identify with you. You've been through similar circumstances like them, and I ask you, please, please consider the loved ones that are going to feel your pain. Um, I don't know. Did you ever know or heard of Sergeant Major Parisi?
I've heard that name, yes, sir.
This dude was one of the greatest orators I've ever seen. So he was just an absolute mouth of fire and facts and vitality and veins. This dude had a way of communicating that was heaven sent. And when he transitioned, he ended up making that decision, you know, that permanent decision. And we lost a brilliant human being. And no one knows what was going through his head. But if I could reach him, I would tell him, I needed your message, man. I needed your message, and your message resonated with me, bro. Like I told you, I owe everything to the Marine Corps, not because of the structure, not because of the chain of command, but because of the people that fill it, because
People.
of the
Yes.
impact they've had on me. In my book, I learned from you. I learned from this person. I learned from this person. This person taught me that. It's just don't rob the future generations of your authentic self. Be true to yourself, keep it real, but have the discipline and the resilience to stay in the pressure cooker because it's going to get easier. If you really hit rock bottom and you start learning to optimize your life, surrounding yourself with the things you love, kicking the alcohol that makes you depressed and affects your mental chemistry and balances you. If you put all that to the side, you're going to start. I, I, I can't predict it. What I want to say, Cam, is I want them to write it in the comment section. I want them to come back in 4 months and tell us what they've done. If they truly go into that dark room and they go through that black box, I want them to write what they've done because there's going to be at least one, two, who knows how many people
Yes.
were feeling what you were putting down, feeling what we were saying, took notes. They're going to go back, visit it. They're going to implement it into their life, and they're going to achieve something beyond us. Man. They're going to achieve something beyond us, and I'm going to be cheering them. I'm going to be clapping them, and I'm going to be so proud. And we're cheering you on. We're cheering all of you on, man. We're cheering you on. We need everyone to win.
I- Yes. Yeah. No, I need all hands on deck for sure, man. And I love that you said that. Like, don't rob. And if in my belief and what I've seen in life, if you're not meant to be here, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, destiny, fate, fill in the blank, man. It'll make sure you're not here. I've seen it. Life is finite and it's precious, and you can't see it right now while you're in a dark place. But just keep pushing, and you have no idea how much your mess can be a message to help someone else. So I thank you, man. Thank you for being on the show. Thank you for your heart of service, for your dedication to making other people better, and just being a good dude, man. That's kind of what it is. I remember on Paris Island they would say, there's like, just be a good dude, man. Like that was the thing, like just be a good dude, right? And you had some people that were just crazy and they were just a good hat, or that one person is like, they're a good Marine, they're good at being a Marine, not as a hat, and they're not a good dude, but like you're a good dude, like you're a good, I would say mofo, but I don't want to, but you're good, and I just thank you for being good, man, and I appreciate
Thanks, brother.
you.
Thank to you, man.
Look, I'm gonna go ahead and close out this part of the episode. This has been the Real Resilience Talk Podcast, episode 65. As always, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. This has been the Real Resilience Talk Podcast, number 65. Not only talking about staying alive, but how to thrive with the great Ernest Twigg, man. The leader provides. Oh, that rhymes. But sincerely, man, and just know that we are inspired by the First Amendment in the words of Dr. Maya Angelou. And she said, if you don't like something, you change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude or shut up. All right? Or shut up. Nah. But there's no time like now to try to make things better, make the world a better place wherever you're at. Right? You ain't got to try to save the whole world. Just try to take care of those around you. What can you do to promote world peace? Go home and love your family, right? So take care of those around you. Much love to all of you. This show is made with nothing but love. And just please remember, we are sponsored by nobody, baby. We're going to have another episode with Ernest, man. Appreciate y'all. Thank you.